What's going on, people? Welcome back to Talking Transfers Live. We've got a nice, lovely panel today. We've got Laurie, Marty and Turkish to discuss what's been going on in Arsenal's transfer windows. I'd say this week, but we'll kind of go over the whole transfer window of what's happened, just what's been going on around Arsenal completely. I mean, there's been a lot of business, a lot of movement from Andrea Berta. We're still waiting on some signs to actually confirm, which is where I kind of want to start. I mean, we know about Noni Madueke, we know about Mosquera, Joarez. I don't know how much people know about Joarez right now, but anyone have any idea of why it's stalling, or anyone frustrated of why it's stalling? Are you wanting it done, or do you understand that this one is probably going to get done next week? Are you relaxed, or are you frustrated, people on the table?
It should be with us before pre-season, ideally, isn't it?
But it's probably not going to be now, though, isn't it? Really, officially.
It's a couple of days. Well, they'll be gone. Probably, they might be gone tomorrow.
Yeah, I think there's a Watford game, in-house game that they're playing. Then straight after that, I've been told that they're flying.
But he can always link up. But what I mean is, what is it? 23rd is the first.
Yeah, the first game we had play against Milan. Milan.
Even for that one's probably unlikely. But ideally, you want your
AC Milan.
your best players there. And if we sign, which we should be signing, Joarez, he will be one of our most exciting signings. So he needs to come in and get some game time. And you look at the start of the season as well, there ain't no time to breathe at the first 6 fixtures. We've got a handful of difficult away games, so Zubimendi's in, nice. He's been around already for a couple of weeks and he's going to go tour nice and early. It'd be nice if Joarez would is in the same position. Yeah, I mean,
Turkish is right there, I think, in the sense that we wanted him before pre-season. I think everyone's when we first started doing Talking Transfers, we weren't. Your brother tried to say that we were panicking. We weren't panicking.
Good job he's not here today, because I'm sure he'd be giving me and you enough grief.
Not a stick, yeah. Because he'd be saying, "Oh, look, we weren't panicking. We were just frustrated because other clubs were doing business and getting it done, and we were seeming like we was moving slow off the mark. Considering with the fact we didn't win the league, we'd think Arsenal would push forward straight away. However, now things seem to have changed. But I remember those people, James and Robbie, saying, as long as they're in by pre-season, I'm not going to stress. It's looking a little bit unlikely that Joarez, the main target, will be. I mean, like Turk said, he probably could meet us there, but it's unlikely that he will be going on that official photo with the team as they leave. So for you, is that frustrating to you? Because at the end of the day, the first game is on the 23rd, which is on Wednesday, and then there's an open training, which, if I believe last time Calafiori was announced, we was there. It was the open training day, and the media were there. 25th. Would you be? I mean, next week.
As Turkey said, ideally you want all your signings in, ready, so that when pre-season starts, they're ready to go. I mean, there's an assimilation process. Meet the players, meet the staff. Got getting used to new methods of playing, tactics. Stuff like that. That is going to take a while. So ideally, you'd want your players in as pre-season starts, so that they're ready to go. But then, as you said, if the signing is a day or two after that, he could always hook up with the team, because they're going to be out there for a few weeks. So, yeah. Listen, man, it would appear that this is on the verge of happening. I'm not sure of the nuances of why this last little bit is taking so long. But it looks like it's going to happen, which is the main thing.
Marty, for you, confident that we're going to get Joarez?
Yeah, I am. The thing with it is we've never had a transfer window with Berta at the helm, and it's interesting to see how he's doing his business. There's a number of signings that have already been done that seem to be straightforward, but when you're trying to prize Sporting Lisbon's top scorer for the last 2 seasons, that's essentially won him the title, and for an amount of many millions of pounds, it's probably, sometimes it might be straightforward, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. In this case, it hasn't proved that simple or as straightforward as him being there. Of course, I want to see him there yesterday. I wanted to see him there in January. It hasn't worked out like that, and I do believe it will be done in good time. It's an imminent signing, and it's going to happen. I think for me it would have been better, maybe in a way, if he had just been sort of announced in the shirt, the pictures with the stadium, and done so that everyone could have gone to the pre-season tour together. If that's not going to happen like by tomorrow, but look, I'm confident of it being done. And again, you've got to give Berta that credit because the transfers that he's done so far, and we've not really got anything to judge him on. If he was there in January and, it was this is a new process. This is the start of a bit of a new process in a way for Arsenal with a new guy at the helm. So let's see how it plays out. And obviously I want him there in as much time, because I understand, like you talk about the settling in period for a player, meeting the other players, and, there's going to be a different style of play as Arsenal do play differently. And also all of the new signings, because don't forget there's quite a few new signings there. We really are. This what I do look at is this transfer window, the amount of activity that I have seen going on, and the amount of players that we're linked to. I think I'm really impressed with personally. And if Joarez and Eze both come into the fold, with the retention of Miles Lewis-Skelly, obviously Big Gabby, Wanyeri, I think it's a fantastic transfer window. I think it's up there with the 9 out of 10. I really do. If all of that happens, if the Eze happens, if the Joarez happening and all that, just the amount of positions that we've covered in this window.
Okay, let's do this. Let's start poking the bear. Let's start fizzing the ball in. Okay, so what happens if he doesn't sign Joarez? What happens if it falls through?
Oh mate, there's going to be chaos if we don't sign a striker in this transfer window.
What happens?
Oh, full meltdown, mate. There's just going to be a cataclysmic Arsenal fan base is going off. There'll probably be protests outside the stadium. There'll be marches. It's going to be. If we do not sign a number 9 in this transfer window, mate, you know what the fan base is like. They're going to be calling for heads, and that's just the fact of it. I cannot see Arsenal getting through this transfer window without signing a top target as a number 9.
So now I've said this in many windows, genuine windows. Turkish, is it fair to say that if the striker deal falls through with Joarez and we don't sign a striker,
it ain't gonna fall through.
Ain't.
No, because you put all the eggs in the Arsenal basket, so it's gonna happen. That's probably what's prolonging it a bit. We're looking to get. They're looking to get a bit more. We're looking to give a bit less, and somewhere in between, he'll find his feet. But I think it's more important we get the player in early than it is haggle over a few mil or risk he's not potentially fit, firing ready for game week 1 because of a few mil. That's just my because this season is important, and we've seen seasons, game week 1 results, game week 7 results. Drop points all over the gaff can have an effect come the end of the season. So you want your best players, your biggest signings, to be in as early as possible.
Can Arteta do it? Can Arteta, for you, Turkish, from what you've seen over the years of Arteta, can he manage this many new signings? Can he manage? Is Joarez a personality that there's a myth? I don't know if it's a myth. Actually, I think there's some truth to it that Arteta can't handle big personalities. Do you think Joarez comes with that? Because when I listen to him in press conferences and interviews, he talks about Lewandowski and Haaland. He goes, "I'm at that table. I'm that. If not, I'm one of the best number 9s in the world." Do you see Arteta controlling not just him, but on top of that, the rest of the bunch that are coming in? Because there's quite a few signings coming in. Or do you think they're all just Arteta players where they'll just not bow? I don't want to say bow down. That sounds quite. It's kind of disrespectful, but they'll just fall in line.
Even with Joarez, it's only 2 into the starting 11. I say only, still welcome additions, but he's done that before with Havertz and Rice coming in. They came straight into the starting 11 as well. Rough ground to begin with, but found his feet in that season and produced our best season of the Emirates era in terms of numbers in the league. But two signings, Zubimendi in and Joarez in. I don't think it's much to worry about in terms of. I hope it's not, because this is the season to do it. So
I want to start pressing on each individual on some of the weak points. Noni Madueke, Laurie.
Welcome.
Oh, okay. So now that he's an Arsenal player, I know a lot of fans had their question marks over the signing. Has it affected your overall Windows viewpoint because of that, or are you still quite happy with what Andrew Burt has been doing? Because in the other signs that we've made, it's looking like Joarez is going to confirm as well. Does the Noni Madueke tarnish anything for you, or are you kind of just like, he's here now, we'll let it pass, and I'm happy with what's been brought in so far?
If we get Joarez, as my man Marty said, then that's the icing on the cake for me. That is the one we wanted. We all said at the end of last season we need a striker. If we sign Joarez, that was the second person on my list. Isak was the first. If we get Joarez, I'll be very happy with that. I think with Madueke, there were reservations about him. I can only speak personally. I did have my reservations about him.
Fair to say.
I'm going to be honest and say, did I want him? No. However, obviously it's the club's choice. They've decided to go for him. He is a good player. I did have some reservations regarding his character, where he would fit into the team. Is he a good squad fit? The money, etc., etc. But listen, at the end of the day, he's going to become an Arsenal player, and I think it's incumbent upon us as fans to welcome him, regardless of what we may have thought previously. I mean, I can't remember, Cecil, a transfer that's been met with so much negativity than him. I mean, you can trace it back when, so for example, when Aaron Ramsdale was coming to the club, there was a lot of reservations about him. People saying, oh, he got relegated with Sheffield United. Havertz, oh, Chelsea reject, why are we signing him? David Raya even, when he come from Brentford, a lot of people saying we don't need him. But this Madueke stuff has been on another level, and it's been disappointing to see some of the stuff that's gone on. I've got to be honest, I'm not with all this noting on it, hashtags, I'm not with the defacing murals, the petitions,
all of that's crazy.
Abusing the guy on social media to the extent where he was had to turn his comments off. At the end of the day, he is a good player. I do think he is a good look for Arsenal, even though I've got to say I wasn't in favour. But now he's here, I'll throw my full weight behind him and give him the support that he needs.
Okay, Marty, I'm going to come to you. Turkish, just quickly though. If Havertz starts match week 1 up front, actually, if we sign Joarez, do you see Joarez starting against Man United away?
Probably not, if I'm honest with you.
What? Okay, why? Because there must be so for you. For you've watched Arsenal. We know how Arteta feels about Havertz. If you just had that big that summer signing, even though granted it probably might fall under the price that we paid for Havertz, why would he not? He's a number. We're all waiting for that number 9. I'm waiting for that signing. How can he not start against Man United away?
Probably looks at it as, or might look at it as, Havertz has to lose his spot. He broke all the metrics, remember? So let's not forget that chestnut. So,
fucking hell.
It's probably going to be that. It shouldn't be, but I can see it. No?
Okay, I'll put it across to you, Mike. I've got some more questions to fill out, but for you then, Mike, do you see that game week 1, match day 1 against Man United away? Joarez signs, by the way. Say he's done his medical tomorrow, which has been rumoured, and he joins us on tour the first week. Is he starting against Man United?
100%.
Okay.
I don't know. You go and spend that sort of money on a number 9, this guy that we've been waiting for. Again, I think if you don't start him away at Man United on the first game, so let's say he comes into pre-season, he plays his games, he beds in, he scores maybe a couple of goals in pre-season, does well, part of the team, and then he doesn't start him, you're going to be like, why aren't you starting him?
But say if Havertz, say Joarez does start a few games,
yeah,
and then Havertz also starts a few games, they both score equal amounts. You still believe Joarez should be the one starting against Man United?
I think they might be played together. I think there's
been some rumours of this.
So I think Odegaard might potentially not start the first few games due to an injury or an operation potentially that I've heard rumours of. So I would imagine that Havertz, unless Eze is bought in, it depends who gets. If Eze gets bought in, then it poses a question. But one thing. Obviously, Havertz not being an 8, potentially he could be played in that 10 role played with Joarez as that sort of, it just offers you a different outlet, a different system. And at times last season, we haven't had different availability with, changing the way we play. It's been quite one-dimensional. We've found it hard to break down teams that have set up in certain ways against us. I think this is a completely untapped way of playing, which is going to surprise people potentially with maybe Havertz and Joarez playing. It's an option without a doubt because we all know he's a handful. He does the things that Odegaard doesn't do, if that makes. Odegaard's very silky and smooth, but sometimes when you need to put a ball in the mixer and you need that guy that's going to get up and put his elbows around and get physical, that could be to knock a ball onto a striker that that is going to be clinical. It just offers you a different way of playing, I believe. But again, until that happens, can I just say something on the Madueke thing? Mm-hmm. And I completely get what you're saying. And The maddest thing is this guy hasn't even kicked a football for us. Like, what I do respect about that signing is he's 23 years old. He's just come away from playing in a Club World Cup final to come and play for a massive team in Arsenal, and he's seen his opportunity. Instead of staying there and potentially winning something with Chelsea, he's gone, he's come away to the Arsenal. He wants to play, and he wants to challenge Bukayo Saka, arguably the best right-sided, the best winger in the Premier League, right? And he wants to challenge him for his position. Also, all of those people that signed the petition, let's say Madueke comes in and does a proper job.
Which I think he might.
Are those same people going to set up the same petition saying sorry to Madueke?
Of course not.
Of course they won't. So then, to me, there's no kudos in that whole thing, and that's why it doesn't carry weight for me, and that's why I think when I see that, the boy hasn't even put an Arsenal shirt, he ain't even touched a blade of grass. Supporters at the end of the day get behind the team support. Did I, like exactly what Laurie said, did I go, was I there when the transfer window opened going, let's go and sign Madueke? No, I wasn't.
Yeah,
and when it come about, I was like, it's a bit of an interesting. But also when you look at one of potentially our issues last season with Saka being burnt out and redlined, that's why he got injured. We're covering this. This whole thing is about depth of squad. Now we are covering that position. And then people say, there's Wanyeri, but obviously he is sort of the closest ready-made replacement for when after 70 minutes or 60 minutes, let's say you're 2-3-0 up, you're 3-0 up, take Saka off, bring Madueke on. It's a sort of like for like replacement in a way. I'm not saying he's as good as Saka, no, don't take that for, and that gives Saka a rest, it gives him game time. That's how that works for me.
Yeah, he can also play on the left wing as well, by the way.
He can.
Done for Chelsea.
And for
Don't
England.
say that because we won't buy a left winger.
For England as well. This one's interesting. So Turkish thinks that, he Havertz probably will start. I mean, we remind ourselves of the signing, 65 million, 275 grand a week. Joarez, I believe, they said it's like 8 million a year salary, which works out, forgive me about my maths, I think it's like 153,000 a week. Yep. So I'm like, it's a lot less money than what Havertz is on. Laurie, I've asked Turkish, he said it seems like Havertz will start up front. Marty said, no, we want to see Joarez up front in that. Well, he thinks he'll go Joarez. I've seen online some of the formations and people that have been trying to work out, they'll play both of them, Havertz and Joarez up front, which I've seen a lot of breakdowns of how they're going to put two in there and then they'll throw the left wing back, so Mars Lewis-Skelly up there and try and just suffocate in that way. Laurie, for you, does Joarez start that first game against Man United? The reason why I asked as well is because will Arteta just resort to what he knows? He's worked with the Arsenal team of last season. Havertz knows the structure. I know he was injured for a bit towards the back end, but he knows how he could just revert back to type and just go with what he knows, especially for a big game against Man United. Or does he go with something different, which he would just probably have to work on in pre-season with going with Joarez? Who do you see starting in that first game?
Well, personally, I hope it's Joarez, but I could envisage a world whereby, because we know he loves Havertz, the manager. So I could envisage a world where the manager tries to shoehorn Havertz into the team. But me personally, Joarez has to start. I'm with Martin. How can you pay that amount of money? There's been all this press and publicity around Joarez, only for him not to start.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I want to see Joarez start in that game. I mean, hopefully by that time, like I said, through pre-season, they'll be able to work out what is the best playing style for. I mean, personally, I don't want to see Havertz starting that first game. I'll keep it real with you all. I want Joarez in there. I'd want the rest to be the usual 11 that we've seen.
Do you not think that if he does that and he does, let's say we sign Joarez in the next few days, and then by that time that first game comes, he beds in. I can't see how you don't think there wouldn't be an absolute meltdown. Like, why there'd be like fans would be like, why are you starting Havertz when you've got Joarez? And to be honest, what's the point? If you're going to start Havertz, what's the point in buying him?
Well, buying Joarez, what's the point in doing it?
What's the point in buying him?
I mean,
if you're going to play Havertz there, then have Joarez on the bench. I don't think we're buying Joarez to put him on the bench.
No, I don't think that's the main reason. Of course not. I just think we know how much Havertz is such a. For Arteta, seems like he's his guy, right? And we all see it. And like I mentioned, when you're paying that much money, 275,000 a week for Havertz, to have that on the bench, that throws up a lot of business-wise. They're going to be saying, Arteta, what are you doing? Like, this is your guy. You spent this month. You got to be playing him. You got to be starting him.
I would imagine a conversation would have taken place between Arteta and the representatives of Joarez, and maybe Joarez himself, say, look, what's your expectations of me? Because with respect, Mikel, I'm not leaving Sporting. I've been playing week in, week out, banging in goals, to come and sit on the bench. We're in World Cup year as well. You know what I mean? I've got my World Cup place to think about. So it's highly unlikely that he would come here thinking that he's going to be playing second fiddle to Havertz. And I just don't even want to think about that scenario, because we've needed a number 9. From what we can tell, or what we can see, Joarez is right up there amongst the best number 9s in the world. It would be absolutely ridiculous to bring him into the club and then not start him. I can't see that happening at all.
Well, you can't see it, but I honestly, I can see it. That's the thing that's annoying me, but I just hope it does.
What I can see is and again, I'm not saying this will probably be wrong as well. He will try and shoehorn Havertz in the team, because remember, Havertz is not an out-and-out striker, is he? He's more of a forward-playing midfielder. So I can see
he's neither
the manager trying to shoehorn him in the team, but you can't do that at the expense of Joarez. That was supposed to be our holy grail, the striker. You've got him now, so you dare mess this one up.
Listen, it's we're pretty much almost halfway through the show. Please like the video while you're here as well. And I've seen your super chats. We will get to them. But I need to ask this question, just get the answer from the panel, because it came off online, and I was like, ooh, I haven't got the answer for that one. Joarez plus Eze for 120 million, or Isak for 120 million. What are you going for?
I don't like these questions. Because it's just a way to just deal with stuff that, you know.
They're both good options, though. They're both good options.
But let's be honest, man. That Isak's not happening. Man.
Okay, but I'm just saying, if
Liverpool couldn't get him at this
I hear that,
stage,
but would you prefer Joarez and Eze, or would you prefer an Isak? Just what would you prefer then? It doesn't matter.
I prefer Joarez Rodrigo.
Would you? Oh, yeah, I'm more Joarez. Eze. I want Eze over
Just in
Rodrigo.
general, if you signed an Isak, that's still that's different. That's massive in a different way. And if you look at Liverpool in comparison to us, I guess we've got more gaps to fill. They've done their business, and now they're looking at the final 1-2 pieces.
Okay, so for us, you're saying we'd still need more than just Isak, but so you'd rather go with Joarez and Rodrigo for you then over just an Isak for Arsenal. You too?
So I'll be honest with you. Look, obviously we need Joarez, but for me, if I'm honest with you, there's 2 signings that I'm really happy about. One's obviously the Zubamendi signing, because I just think that's another discussion. But Eze, I think that he changes the way that we play football because of his versatility. If you watch him last season, what he did for Crystal Palace, no disrespect to Crystal Palace, right? That they're a good team. They won the FA Cup, and he was absolutely instrumental in doing that. Like you see in that final, they had one chance. That ball goes in the middle, Eze hits it, it's in the back of the net. That's what you need in big games. If you want to win competitions, you want to win Premier Leagues, sometimes there might be games where you're limited to 1 or 2 chances. You need a guy that is going to put that ball in the back of the net. And I believe he is of that ilk. He's a creative player. He's quick. He retains the ball. His injury record's pretty good. He's got a good attitude, good temperament. He knows Arsenal Football Club because he's been here before. He can play in a multitude of positions. I just think he is the guy. I really do. That's the signing that I'm really excited about, is getting Eze. You can play him on the left, you can play him in the middle. He's just cover for these guys. He's lightning quick. He's in the prime of his life as well, at 27 years old. He's ready to go. He knows the Premier League. He's there, and he's essentially an Arsenal lad.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's exactly how I feel. But I actually want Eze over Rodrigo.
Yeah, thank you, 100%.
I said that as well. I'm with that too.
Brain BM says Joarez and Eze, we cook next season, bro. Yep. So people, that is something. And Clinton Williams says Eze as well.
What's happening with that Eze thing? Because that's gone quiet over the last week or so.
Yeah,
we're buying up half of Europe at the minute. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I believe that will happen. It's just there's a lot of transfer activity going on.
Yeah, there's still 5 weeks
left. No, there isn't, and I do like the quote. It's like, I don't mind when it happens. Just do the business. I'm happy with that. York9 says,
wouldn't you like it done before pre-season?
I'm not. Of course we would. I would have liked it as soon as the window opened. Yeah, or in January. But I'm not. As long as it happens, I'm not too fussed. As long as we get the players in. York9 says, Eze is just different. Nature Mania says, I can ask better question than Cecil. Please do, Nature. Just drop it in the comments. If you can give me a good question, we can get it in the show. Thanks. Let me just read some of the super chats as well. Apologies to you people that have sent them. Thank you so much. I just want to get out some of the initial opening starters and warm-ups to the show with those questions. So Sam Park says, Arsenal need more bodies. We are still at the point where 3, 4... Oh, sorry, this is going all over the place. Seminal injuries, or semi-final injuries over a couple of weeks. And we'll have to write off the season yet again. The squad needs to be broadened. So, people that are sat with me here, do we still need more? I mean, if Joarez signs, say hypothetically, are you still looking for more bodies? I mean, we want Eze, but
with Eze,
do you still want a winger then? Another winger.
You might as well get that guy's question in, because I'd rather hear that question than that one.
Where is he?
I don't know, but you asked him to ask a question.
Oh,
the one you've just asked is the most nonsense of the day. Of course we need more players. We've got, the only out-and-out upgrade so far is Joarez, right? Zubimendi, we hope he hits the ground running. We hope he replicates similar form. That's all hoping. And maybe some expectation there too. But Joarez is the only one that comes in that's left field, different type, different mould. It's something we haven't got in terms of an out-and-out 9. Can't just rest on your laurels there. 2 more signings minimum. That should be it.
What, on top of Joarez?
Yeah, that should be it. It should be though.
It's a lot of. We're nearly at 200 million.
Well, you know what?
He's another 2 signings. That's hitting like 250.
No, we're sitting 300.
I think we're 185 or something at the minute.
I love Turkish nose. Standards high. Everything. I love it. But realism-wise,
man was saying unprecedented.
Hang on a minute.
Now your eyes are wide, talking about 250 million. What's unprecedented then?
But hang on a minute, Cecil. That may not be as crazy as it first seems. You know why? Because we've got a host of players that we need to be offloading.
Yeah.
So if we can offload the likes of Zinchenko,
so bad. They're going to be sold for peanuts, which is on the club.
Well, we don't know that, do we? Because there are some players that have good resale value.
Reece Nelson's been told that he's going on another loan. He's going to be staying. Zinchenko, I mean, he was linked to.
Who's staying?
Reece Nelson. Going
He's
on another loan to Fulham. They're sorting out. Who else is there that needs to go? The Lokongas, I mean, those people.
What about people like Kivior and people like that?
I think they're looking to hold on to Kivior.
You have to hold on to Kivior.
Yeah, we have to.
It's getting the revenue
if you bring in
to support all them players.
So
ain't odd when you're banging out 30 different training kits a season. Do you know what I mean? That's creating some serious revenue.
But realistically, it's 200 million that we had before the window opened. So I always go off that figure. You're right. The player sales will push it up, but right now, we haven't done that.
Why'd you go off that figure?
Because that's what was. That was official that we had 200 million to play with before.
No, that's nothing official.
That's what there was a lot of reports about. That they have a 200 from the Champions League and all the rounds. There was 200 million. That's what I saw. I don't know. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
I'm sure.
There is no official sum to work off.
Okay, but from what I saw in reports, it was 200 million from the money they've made throughout the season. That before the window opened, that's what we had to play with. Now we're pretty much at that. We're I think on 186 million spent with the Joarez deal. So 2 more on top of that. And the way you like the left field players, they're the big signings, the Rodrigos.
Yeah. And that's where we come full circle back to Madueke then. And a lot of the reason why there was so much uproar about it.
Because the money wasn't used in the right way for you, is that?
Well, in my opinion. But we'll come full circle when the transfer window is done and we see what else they decide to do off the back of these next 3 welcomes. Mosquera, Madueke and Joarez. You know, it can't end there.
Okay. So and so you're saying more bodies. Is everyone saying more you want to see more signings?
I'd like to see more signings, but I think realistically, if we get Joarez, which it looks like we're gonna, we get Eze, which hopefully we do. I could see possibly one other. Because we signed Mosquera as well, pretty much.
I think,
and that would represent a very good window for me.
But is the squad in a good position if you have 2 players in each position?
Yeah, it is.
No, but they have that anyway.
That is depth, but you don't look. Also, to contrary belief, you don't want to add too many players either.
I agree.
It's not. No,
Chelsea have done it, and they've done it. It seems like it's starting to work out. For
them.
them.
I get that, but then there was a period of time where they've won the Club World Cup and they won the conference. You know, the UEFA Conference League's a fair play, but also their Premier League form was a bit inconsistent. And listen, would that have worked in the Champions League? I don't know. You won't find out until next season, will we?
We won't find out. You're right there. I just think with 2 players in each position, I don't know. Obviously, of course, we always want more. We always want the next sign and whatnot. I think that, like you said, I think that does equal, in my opinion, squad depth. Now we didn't really have that last season, if I'm completely honest, and we suffered. But 27 injuries is kind of more unprecedented than expecting a crazy amount of money from a summer window, which we all want, but they always come up with a new a spark word, unprecedented, war chest. The goosebumps thing, I said this with Curtis, I think it's a bit too far. But yeah, I think 2 players in each position, which could look like it get covered with a Joarez signing, potentially the Eze. I want the Eze more than anything, because I just think he'll be.
What about Madueke? You didn't say whether you want him or not.
I didn't want Madueke, but I'm fully behind him. Like I think it's outrageous to the uproar. I couldn't believe it for a player that hasn't even put on the shirt yet, and everyone that tells me he's a good player, I think he's a good player. The hate and abuse he got is so confusing. If you think he's a good player, wait for him to play in the shirt. If you are angry, be angry at the club for paying the money, which you're right. I think 52 million with add-ons it's unnecessary. Unnecessary. He's a £29 million signing to Chelsea. The money doesn't make sense, but that's not his fault. And the interest from Arsenal is not his fault. Look at the Artetas and the Andrew Bertas. If you're that angry, target them, not the player himself. But
this is what happens, and this is like I don't disagree with anything you man have said on that. So I don't need to reiterate that, right? Cool. But it's always made about the minority in a sense, because even the petition thing, 3,000 man signed it.
Yeah, it's nothing.
But everyone's talking about that. The fact of the matter is, the club went and signed another player from Chelsea they were happy to get rid of and paid nearly double what they actually originally spent. That is the cause of frustration more than anything. But that gets lost in the wind because the main focus becomes the minority and the ones signing petitions or abusing or whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? But that's the club just get away with it again. Well, this is the season, right? So this is the season.
This is the season. Right, we're going to go off the Super Chats now. So thank you everyone that's got involved. Again, please, come on, 383 likes. Please, guys, come on. There's almost 5,000 of you watching. It costs nothing. Just tap it for us, please. Right, let me run through the Super Chat. Zamir says, Arsenal are supposed to be bigger than Chelsea, but Chelsea keep winning trophies. And for the last several years, we keep buying their dross. Anyone want to comment on that, or should we move on?
Well, look, with the Madueke thing, he hasn't, like we've said, he hasn't even touched a blade of grass at the Emirates yet. So you just can't truly. He might turn up and he might be useless. He might turn up and he might be absolutely amazing. So we will find out in due course.
He could turn up and be in between.
He could. There you go. And then the Havertz thing, there's a lot of divided opinions on that. We did definitely miss him when we got injured. For me, Jorginho, that signing. I thought it was a good sign. I thought he did a good job for us, and there was a long period of a season which he covered for Thomas Partey, which I think goes a bit unnoticed. And he played, he did his job. He did what he had to. Again, another Chelsea reader. I really like the Kepa signing. I do. I watch goalkeepers, and I watched Kepa last season, and I think that's a fantastic bit of business. And the worry that I had last season with Neto in goal, I was like, I watched that Champions League with Girona, and within the first few minutes I was like, mate, what is going on here? I was like, I could have done a better job. And he was absolutely all over. And that was, I think, the only game he played. But the Kepa, I don't, look, I'm not saying I'd want Raya to get injured, because I wouldn't, but I'm not overly worried having Kepa step in, because he does a job, and unlike a lot of keepers, he doesn't make that many mistakes, and he's solid. He's been around the block. He's got experience of winning things. I think it's a good signing.
I agree.
Hey, listen.
Go on.
I've got nothing. We've already talked about Kepa too long. You see, the backup keeper, he'll play Carabao Cup.
Say how you feel, man.
I'm saying how I feel.
They both love Kepa.
I've said it.
No, I didn't say
we talked about him.
I'm saying I love him, but I'm sure fans will come to love him.
No, fans will not come to love Kepa.
Do you not rate him Turkish?
No.
Really? Why? Would you not rate him?
I don't know. What do you want? His attitude early on in his Chelsea career? Not
look, that
manager.
was a mad bit of housery.
An abundance of mistakes over those years, not being good enough at the top level. I mean, there's many reasons.
Okay, but last season...
But it's a 5 million... I'm not saying anything about the signing. I don't think it's neither here nor there. 5 million backup keeper. I'll see you in Carabao Cup. Thank you, good night. On to the next one. Do you get what I'm saying?
You might challenge Raya though. If we don't,
I'm not challenge Raya.
If he starts against United,
Liverpool, you will be in trouble. I'm telling you, man. If anything happens to Raya, but backup keepers generally are, backups for a reason. So I'm not saying that we should go get a number one.
At Bournemouth?
I don't watch Bournemouth week in, week out, but he a lot of praise around him. But why didn't Bournemouth pay the 5 million then?
Maybe because he wanted to go to the Arsenal.
Oh, we're going to do that one.
Everyone
wants to until we don't sign them, and they apparently they're pagans. But
I think it's a good signing for the reasons as Marty expressed. Listen, we needed a backup keeper. Raya, who was for me our player of the season last season, but he played a lot of games. And there were some games when he did look a little bit mentally frazzled, made a few mistakes. I think you need as well competition for your number one goalkeeping spot. No spot, you said yourself, didn't you, about having two players for every position. Yeah. You need that in a team that's looking to progress and win things.
Not a keeper.
You need but you do need somebody that can.
You need a number two, though.
You need a number two, but you don't need one that really is going to be breathing down the other keeper's neck. It doesn't really.
But if you've got that situation, that's only to our benefit, isn't it?
When we had Raya Ramsdale, was it to our benefit? It wasn't. We kept
but what
on
I'm saying, you want
it.
somebody that can push him so that if he's not at his level best, then.
No, I think you want the keeper to know he's the boss.
For £5 million, man.
Turkish, are you telling me that you're not going to be wearing your Kepa shirt next season?
Yeah, there shouldn't be any Kepa shirts sold next season. If I'm honest with you,
next is Madueke.
I think you're focusing too much on the
Madueke for a while.
Arsenal-Chelsea thing. I think, listen, the guy is a decent keeper. I think he's a more than adequate number two. I think the price as well, 5 million, is next to nothing, and I think he will enhance the squad. I really do.
Okay, I mean, right, let's carry on. We're going to carry on through the super chats again. Thank you everyone for getting involved. Dan Mandoodoo says, I bet mini Turkish would talk more sense than Thai. Big up, little man, every time in the building for the live. D-Wall says, we gave Chelsea our Eze money, lol, we're screwed. I think there was someone in the chat that actually mentioned that, like, we've given them money to potentially go and move for Eze, and obviously it'd be interesting to see who Chelsea do go and sign actually with some of the money they brought in, or if they're going to use that money. Obviously it was the Club World Cup as well, big purse that they've won. They have a lot of power now, when I say power, I mean money to move for some of the players that are floating around the transfer market that are big targets.
Yes, so do we though. I'm not worried about that. Listen, when it comes to financial fair play and stuff like that, when it comes to business, Arsenal are well versed in it. Like I wouldn't be worried about that. I don't think we've spent that money. I can still see Eze coming in 100%. I don't think that money's been spent. Like I said, the club finds ways and means. What you got to understand as well is Arsenal are a more world viable club than Chelsea in the way of marketability out there, and that stuff does matter. That is revenue, and revenue also. Don't forget match day revenue. We've got a much bigger stadium than them, so we have got financial means. When it comes to financial fair play, apart from the only thing they've got is that Club World Cup. That is a big 100 million or whatever they got from that.
Arsenal do seem stubborn when it comes to penny pinching.
I think what you've seen with Berta though, he seems like a tough negotiator. I mean, obviously we don't know the ins and outs, but it would appear from the length of some of these deals are taken, and what I'm seeing, it would appear that the guy is a tough negotiator that appreciates every penny.
Appreciate every penny, but I also think, for me, and I don't normally look above, I also think, again, the club are very stringent on the money that they're looking to spend. They don't want to ever go past or go, they have a fixed certain amount of money they want to spend. They won't go past it. They won't really negotiate down or negotiate up. Because the reason why I say it is because obviously I speak to, my main conversation I hear that from is Ollie Watkins' team, and they were like, Arsenal don't want to spend the money. So that shocked me. And then we see about the Joarez thing. His release clause was 100 million euros. Then there was, they were penny pinching trying to get ANC to take off his add-ons, and they got it down, which I suppose is good business at the end of the day. If you get the man, fair play, but it shows that we're not looking to get swindled or pay extra. We're not United.
I think on that point as well, it's important to remember that clubs like Arsenal have a wage structure that they're very loath to break.
Yeah.
Because once you break that once,
they've messed. Well, I don't know. Listen, maybe they haven't. Maybe that might be the going rate.
Yeah, but that was prior to Berta coming in. What I'm
true.
saying is,
I
once
think
you've
it's
got a wage
ridiculous.
structure there, and you break that, then you
the
put
barn
cat
doors are
amongst
open,
pigeons,
mate.
because
Do you know
then
what I mean?
everybody starts saying, "Well, hang on a minute, my deal was structured so that I get this, and I become the highest." You know what I'm saying? So if he's on that, you know what I mean. So it's very important that clubs adhere to their wage structures as much as possible. So that might explain some of the nuances in the deals we're seeing.
Okay. HW says, if I told you Rodrigo never got more in 10 goals in any league campaign, would you believe me? He played striker in a front two under Carlo Ancelotti as well and couldn't crack more than 10. Get Eze and it's no biggie. I mean, I'm team Eze. I have been for a while. Let's move on to Victor's ZZZZ26 says, any concerns with basically no outgoings so far? I mean, you judge a window on incomers and outgoings. The outgoings haven't been... Right now, I think... I haven't even checked the most up-to-date squad, but I believe Lukonga and Tavares are still in... Lukonga, I'm sure, is still in...
Tavares went.
I think Tavares went. I think Lukonga's, I think, still part of the squad in some capacity. They've got to find... Yeah.
Do you know also part of how I can see the Eze deal being done that I've heard is Reece Nelson going to Palace.
Yeah.
I think Reece Nelson, because what Palace, they're going into the Conference League, they need to replace the player. And obviously giving them a ready-made player in Reece Nelson would work, because that's what I've heard now. Fulham are coming in quick because they know that is a deal that can happen. So Fulham, obviously, whereas Fulham last season got on very well, and Fulham are looking to get that done quick. I think we will see the outgoings. I kind of like that in a way. It's like, right, let's get in the players we need to get in, and then we'll shift the players, and they'll go. Listen, they are top quality players, and there's definitely a club for them at a price.
Again, Reece, close with a lot of his team as well. And he was happy he's really happy at Fulham. Really was happy at Fulham. But I don't know, maybe they're not buying him yet because of the injury he sustained, and they didn't really get the full use out of him towards the majority of last season. It's probably why they're not spending money, because he's been linked, like you just mentioned, maybe part of the Palace deal for Eze, but also most up-to-date news that we saw is him going on loan again to Fulham for next season. So again, that's still, we want money for these players,
of course,
but
we will get that. What I do like, that's what I say, to reiterate, I do like that we're getting the players in first, then we'll get rid of what we need to get rid of afterwards. Instead of, imagine getting rid of all your players. If you get rid of all your players and then you go and get your players, you might miss out on the players that you want. And we need to get these players in. That's the thing, we need them in.
No, you're right.
We should just say here as well that retention is also important. So the fact that we signed Nwaneri to a 5-year deal is good news for the club also, because you don't want to lose a player like that.
100%. Nwaneri, Marzo, Skelly, all that deals are really good. Mike Willmill says, Etikite, I can never say his name. Ekatike. 3 more goals than Cesco. Where's the hype? Did it? Be honest. Anyone on this panel wanted Cesco over Joarez? Be honest.
No, I didn't.
Be honest.
Look, no. Do you know what? I really like the Joarez signing just because of the numbers, but there is a little thing that says I do like the way Cesco plays. He's big, and obviously the Bundesliga is proven it's harder to score in the Bundesliga than it is in the Portuguese league. But you can't lie with Joarez numbers. He is an out-and-out goal scorer. And he has played in England before, but obviously I've always liked the Joarez signing. I've always liked it. Do you know?
So you've always when they said that Cesco's more Arteta's sort of signing and all that, were you the one saying I want Cesco more?
No, I didn't say that. Do you know what? I did say? And I'm going to be honest with you. The player that I think out of everyone, Osherman. That player can be bought. That player could be bought for 55 million. I think he would fit in fantastically at Arsenal. And he is an out-and-out goal scorer. He's proven. He's done it for Napoli. Yeah. He's done it in leagues top leagues. And I like that signing. But there's obviously something that the club see in that player that they don't like.
Okay. You was Joarez from the beginning, Laura?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You were as well. Okay, cool. I'm going to keep moving forward.
I was of the view that Cesco is a work in progress. We simply don't have the time for that. We need somebody who can hit the ground running, score goals. And listen, man, you look at the guy's goal scoring record, something like 97 goals in 102 games. That's phenomenal figures. You can't ignore that.
Yeah. HW says, by the way, I rate Rodrigo. I do see him as a game changer think there is heavy Madrid tax there. He's caught a lot of corn from their fans. I mean, yeah, fair. Dimfar says, Gabriel Jesus on the left, Martinelli, Trossard backup. So when Gabriel Jesus obviously is returning from injury, could you see that possibly playing out? Gabriel Jesus on the left, and then Martinelli and Trossard as backup, or not? Or one of the two as backup? Or do you think people should be looking? Should we be looking to move on Gabriel Jesus?
I think with the injury record, the knee injuries, you got to kind of. You're going to always have a doubt is when's this guy going to get injured again? He just hasn't had a good injury record, has he?
No,
at all.
Have you written off Gabriel? I don't even mention him anymore.
He's a write-off now, man.
That sounds really harsh because I'm a big fan of Gabriel Jesus. But
how can you mention him if he's not back till January anyway?
Yeah.
What were we mentioning him for? I didn't even get the super chat. That's kind of nonsense to me. Suggesting he plays left. The guy's out till January. Two knees, ACL's done. Like, how are we suggesting him on the left?
You have to ask Dimfa. That one's for you. Josephine says, if Laurie was negotiating with Palace for Eze, he would end up bringing back Eddie. Thank goodness we have Berta. Trust him.
No, he's you know that person that submitted that. He's the same type of guy that probably signed that petition about Madway.
Why are you putting that on him?
No, because I could just feel his energy.
No, bro. Man, that was a funny joke. That was a funny joke.
No, I'm good, bro.
Sorry, I was so bad at
it. No, but seriously, that guy there. Why are you bringing up Eddie for? You know what I mean? At the end of the
why
day,
are you sensitive about Eddie?
No, I'm just saying. I feel that guy's energy. He's the same.
You made Cecil just spill his trinkle down his Tony Adams.
You said I'm good. Bro.
I'm good.
Prove me, bro. Sorry.
No, but listen, at the end of the day, I'm good. But what I'm saying is, my thing is this: if the guys come to the club, you support him. Same way like I supported Eddie when all these guys were there throwing shade on the guy. I just wanted Eddie to do well. That's just the kind of person I am.
It was funny though because I didn't see a guy in there.
No, I didn't see a guy. That's why I'm laughing.
So when it was a good one.
No, but we had a couple of people in the comments yesterday when I did the show with Turkish going on about, yeah, but you wanted Eddie. I'm like, bro, Eddie was already at the club. I gave Eddie my moral support because I think he needed it. Same thing's going to be the case with Madueke. And people like you are the people that are out there signing petitions. He's probably one of the, how many thousand was it?
3,000.
Yeah, I'm sure you're one of the 3,000. Anyway.
Josephone does go on and say, Turkish the only voice of realism. Yes, we need more players.
So the same guy that...
Yeah, same guy.
Big up, man. That was funny, man.
Your reaction, Laurie, kill me there. Amir says, who would overtake Rodrigo Eze signing in Arsenal? Who would overtake Rodrigo plus Eze signing in Arsenal?
Don't really get it.
I don't really get it. I mean, I suppose the question between them and then Isak, who would you rather have? But apologies, sorry Amir, if you can rewrite it. I'll see if I can see it in the comments instead of in a super chat, and I'll try and read that out with a bit more clarity. Henry says, let's say we have a successful 2025 season, we win multiple trophies. Would love that. Could we go and poach Isak from Newcastle next season? Yeah, Isak's still a wanted player regardless of if a year moves forward. Would you look to want to have an Isak? You got a Joarez, say if he's firing, win trophies. Do you think the times would have moved on and changed, and there'll be probably a player that you want to pick up instead of Isak, or do you think Isak will still be hot property?
If Joarez comes in and we go and win the Premier League, that suggests everything to me that we've bought this player to do that. Now, that would be like, why would you? I don't know why you'd bring in if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't get me wrong, you need to upgrade. You do need to add and you need to upgrade, 100%. Maybe as a backup or maybe as competition. Yeah, but I think that would then suggest to me that Joarez's track record of winning the Portuguese league one season, then he replicated it next season and banged those goals. It would suggest to me that he's going to do the same thing again next season. Yeah, you always look at upgrades and if it's there and available, but it would be
you know the interesting thing about that scenario that you've just raised is that both Joarez and Isak play for Sweden, the Swedish national team.
Together.
And Joarez actually plays up top. They displace Isak to the wing for the national side.
Okay, so
that's an interesting scenario.
I did know that.
Could play them together.
Yeah.
This second, I mean, that'll be a nice 2026 Arsenal 11. Let me keep going through these super chats because there's loads of them. BC says Rodrigo is still possible, 75 million. That's a lot of money. Funded by Vieira to Parma for 20 million, Trossard to Bayern for 20 million, Zinchenko to Milan for 15 million, Lokonga to Forest for 10 million, and Nelson to Fulham for 10 million.
Fulham is alone now, so that's already at...
Yeah, the Fulham one probably won't happen. Lokonga, I don't know if Forest will look to actually buy him. Zinchenko, that Milan that has gone quiet recently. Trossard to Bayern, still floating around, but I don't know. Vieira to Parma. I mean, it depends if we. Listen, it depends how good we sell. And for what I've seen so far, we're just not very good at selling. Can we please hit the like button, people, as well? I want to get at least 1,000 likes, please, before we finish. Before I'm actually writing that as I go. Let me carry on with super chats. Richard Williams says could be a brilliant window, but I think we're still spending to stand still. Essentially, I think the potential transfers kind of guarantee top 4. You said to that. So do you feel
that's a good way to put it?
We're just standing still. We're just recovering. We're just replacing what's going. So you don't feel like it's an upgrade.
Yeah, like I said, Joarez feels like the only one that.
That's the only non-replacement, really.
Yeah.
That's the only addition. If I'm being real, every other signing is a replacement for players that have left. So, depending on quality-wise, you won't really know until the team plays out. It makes sense. It does make sense. But I expect, hopefully, again, another signing in Eze with Joarez to kind of go to that next level. Who's winning the window so far? Transfer window. I need to crack on 3 super chats to finish the show. But for you, what club is winning in the window so far?
Give Liverpool the edge.
The edge over who?
Arsenal.
Nah, man. Liverpool's definitely winning it.
No, but I'll give them the edge because if we're on the verge of signing Joarez and Eze, then I think that is a very good window. Well, I'd still think Liverpool have edged.
I mean, you keep saying Eze. There's no strong link to Eze. I mean, there's
a strong link.
No, there's a rumour.
No, I think it's more than a rumour.
No, that's a rumour. I haven't seen really Fabrizio Ornstein talk much about Eze to Arsenal.
I think what's happened is that things have cooled in the last week because there have been no further developments. But we know that Arsenal have met with the player and his representatives and agreed wages and stuff like that.
In principle, so
it's up to the clubs too. So I'll say that's more than a rumour.
Okay, so you're saying edge in Liverpool. You're saying Liverpool are clear, but who's is it Arsenal on second in the race for who's having the best window so far?
You could argue City. You could argue us. Yeah, I mean, you could argue City, us. I don't think Chelsea's business has been too.
Hasn't been bad.
I mean, Delap and Pedro, I think good additions. Gittins, I'm not sold on. They got that Esteval guy coming back. I don't know if you classed it, but I'd say Liverpool clear, then City or Arsenal maybe. You can make arguments for and against.
Chelsea making sales as well. Obviously, we know we got
that Nepan kid as well. They've just signed City, so when you think all things considered, it's been good for them so far.
So where do you put Arsenal? You put Arsenal. You haven't really made a decision on where you want to put Arsenal.
No, I put Liverpool clear and then City or Arsenal.
Okay.
It's not really. There's not much to choose.
Like a lot of this is essentially on paper and it's ideas. You don't really know the value and who's had. If we have this transfer window and we go and win the league, it's clear that we've had the best transfer window, even if we've signed 3 players. That is how this transfer window is truly judged. What happens at the end of the season?
I hear that, but Liverpool signed Chiesa and they didn't win the transfer window. They won the league. Fair play.
That's winning the transfer window. The business they done last season was the best business because it won them the league. That's what I'm saying is. The transition from now until the end of the season and how we do, that's going to give me my answer. Okay. We can all sit here once let's say we sign Joarez and Eze and all that, and we're like, yeah, what a great window. But then Joarez scores 5 goals next season, and Eze's injured for most of the season. Before now we're going, it's a 10-10 window or whatever, or 9-10-8, whatever. At the end of the season we're going to be going, that was a terrible window. That was absolutely diabolical, and that's it. But then we go and win the Premier League, and let's say we won the double next season. Then we're going to be saying that was one of the best windows Arsenal have ever had, and that's it.
I take your point, and there is much validity to what you say, but what I would say in counter to that is this: I can't remember a window in recent years where I've been as encouraged as I have with this one. Even though it got off to a slow start, I think the way things are going now, if we get the players right, that we think we're going to get, and I include Eze in that, then I would say that it's a good window. And I would also add that there is no excuses now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No excuses.
Yeah,
That squad is good enough to win trophies. The board have backed you, Mikel Arteta. You know what I mean? Unless you get some like mad injuries that devastate the squad, then
it's strange. I'm gonna smash through the super chats to finish, but it's strange sitting in the middle because it's like window we've stood still, window that there's no excuses, and it's like I feel like just place smack bang in the middle. No, I'm actually with you. I'm more the positive side, looking at the window. I think we've done more business than I've seen, but again,
there ain't.
I still want just a little bit more. Joseph phone back with a super chat. Says Emirates era where we missed a striker, then we're missing a CDM. Always one player short. I'm telling you all. If we don't get Eze and a left winger, wow, we will be saying end of season we were short and won't win anything. Dennis with super chat says, what's our best starting 11 with Madueke in? That's an interesting question. I'm just trying to think. Let me do the front three.
How come it's not an interesting question.
It's not. I was thinking you'd say Saka on the right, Joarez up front, Madueke on the left.
Play on the left, right? You won't play on the right.
TJ says that would be the best front three, and the rest fills itself out. TJ says with super chat, we've been asking for a striker for years, and we almost have one. I don't think we will get any other players. Why aren't we satisfied? It's now up to the players and the manager to step up. Yeah, you're right. We've been crying out for a striker, I think, because the longer we've waited, other things have then started to disappear and go. So you want to fill that as well as having a striker. Joe Talks Football says, Fulham fan, thoughts Nelson going for another loan?
It is what it is.
It is. Listen, he's happy there. He says Marcus Silva. He likes Marcus Silva a lot. Again, like I said, I've spoken to him. I think he's a good player. I think Arsenal just, it hasn't been the right time for him. I think he's quality. Like I said, he's definitely a quality player. And if he's happy at Fulham, you've got a good player in him. Same with like the Emil Smith-Rowe and that. Even though I think Fulham fans got a bit disgruntled towards the back end of the season of his performances. His injury. Rasta Mouse says, should we sign Sterling? Would love to see him prove himself. No, you don't. No. Redemption.
Another one
we're yet to see the best of him.
Everyone gave full support.
We're yet to see
moral support.
We're yet to see the best of him. If we sign him, we could potentially. One more chance.
Just give him moral support, man.
One last chance. You want Sterling?
I'm sure that'll work.
That ship sailed. Move on.
Right. The Real Fortune 143 says we have signed upgrades in every position so far. Do we all agree on that? We don't really know, I suppose, until the season plays out.
I think that's a fair question. I mean, look at Kepa, upgrade.
Yeah,
Zubimendi, upgrade. Norgard, I think that's an upgrade on Jorginho. Madueke, Mosquera, and Joarez. I think that's a good window, man.
I'll leave that
Joarez is definitely an upgrade. So who's not the upgrade then?
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Manpreet says we're one injury away from Marino or Havertz playing centre forward. That's actually makes me laugh because if Joarez gets injured, if I see Marino go up top over Havertz, the club is finished. The club is finished. But they actually might be entitled to put him there because of his scoring run at the back end of last season.
Yeah,
but that's bad.
Oh, I mean, he did score some goals. But I'm not saying, I'm not saying he did score some goals. It is what it is. It's an option, right? But I think Havertz would be the backup option. Like I said, I can see Havertz being played with Joarez. I can see, last season we were very, in ways, one-dimensional. We had a way of playing, and especially when our striker got injured.
Would you not be embarrassed if you were Havertz and Joarez goes down and Arteta's calling for Marino to come up front instead of...
and he's on the bench?
Of course.
On the bench. Well, yeah, but then Marino did score.
Look,
I'm not saying I don't want Marino up top and I want Joarez, but it is an option, and it did win us games. Yeah. Like it needs must sometimes. So don't get me wrong. Like Isak's not fit for every game, is he? Like strikers do get injured, players do get injured, and you need that versatility. And sometimes you've got to grind it out. I think that what the Joarez signing does is there's games last season that we should have won. There's draws. What it does for me, right, is it changes those games that we drew into wins. and then you change that, then that's how you win the Premier League.
Why are you getting cold feet?
We didn't lose. Listen, we didn't lose that many games last season. We didn't lose that many games. It was all the draws.
Yeah.
It was the draws that killed us.
Yeah, fair.
I get a sense of you having cold feet because, as Marty says, we all said we need a striker. Joarez is most people's, if not first choice, second choice after Isak is pretty much everyone's first choice because let's be honest, the majority of the fans wanted Joarez over Cesco.
100%. I was on that boat.
Now this is why I'm saying that if we get these signings, there's no more excuses.
Okay.
That's why I said that.
I agree. Chris says, I see Joarez coming in as a sub against United. He's not starting for sure. Colin says, don't get the obsession with Rodrigo. I don't really either. But Martinelli's, well, actually, no, he's a good player, but Martinelli's numbers are better than Rodrigo's. 15 Prem goals 2 seasons ago. Yes, Turkish. That's exceptional.
2 seasons ago, and we're still talking about it. He was my player of the season that year as well. But think about what you're saying there. One great season amongst 4 is not good enough, and that's why we're talking about left wingers. And there ain't no obsession with Rodrigo. It's just Rodrigo's a quality player that's available. Why do people turn it to such an extreme? Do you go, we need quality players on the wings. There's one available there. You know, it makes sense to want that player.
Yeah,
if people think he's like Martinelli, then I don't know what to say for you.
Amir says, name one player better than Rodrigo and Eze combined. Oh.
No, you can't. Not available.
Combined?
Not available.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I like Lamine Yamal, but I mean, it's still, the level of Eze and Rodrigo together would be unbelievable. Costa Forte says, why are we so bad at selling players? I thought Berta's track record at Atletico suggests he's a master of getting maximum value out of a player. Turkish did a whole bit on that. Big up to all of you, by the way. Did you do that yet? Was that on for Arsenal or something?
Maybe my channel. But you gotta understand, he's just come into the club, and the way we move in the window is through years of, nonsense. That's the reputation we built for ourselves, both signings and outgoings. So it's going to take more than a few months. At the same time, I even look at the players we have and I see little to no value. I really, I struggle. Nelson loan, Vieira, that Palmer thing, it doesn't seem to be real. That probably ends up another loan.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Zinchenko probably has about 15 million in. You're struggling.
We're squeezing we are struggling. And do you know what? It's funny, in this chat I've been called everything. I've been told to be sacked, shit, asking questions, all of that. Been getting absolutely berated in this chat. But BC says Turkish and Cesco are both right. Academics, Kieran Maguire specialises in FA accountancy and reported that we could spend 200 million plus this summer and have no PSR concerns. I definitely read a report about it. I didn't make it up. But yeah, so we had the money to spend. I thought it was 200 million, kind of spot on. And if it might be a little bit over that we can utilise without getting in trouble with PSR. But also we need to make sales to get those extra signings. But we're close to it at the moment. 186 million spent so far. Josephine come back with a super chat. Says, Laurie, I did not. Okay, let me just read this first. This for you. Prepare yourself. Right. Don't get vexed. Josephine says, Laurie, I did not sign the Madueke petition, and I hope he proves me wrong. Good. I'm just not deluded enough to think Eddie Nketiah can lead the line to win us the title.
No, but who said that? Right? No, but hang on, bro. Like, who said that? Did you ever hear me say that?
I might have.
You should have said that one slide.
I might have heard that still. I can't remember exactly.
Did anyone ever hear me say that?
I might have.
I haven't. No,
I'm out.
I repeat, when Eddie was at the club, I gave him my support. There was a lot of fans, right, who I thought unnecessarily critical of the guy. Say what you want about Eddie, he did try his best in an Arsenal shirt, and because of that, I felt it incumbent upon myself to show the man support. Now, if that sits badly with you, then fine, that's your problem.
Josephine ends his super chat by saying, anyway, Joarez era now. Okay. Thanks for clearing up as well.
Yeah, no problem.
Yusuf says, City and Liverpool still stronger squads overall. Madueke definite upgrade to Sterling and Reece. Midfield only replaced Thomas Partey and Jorginho, not added depth. Midfield only replaced.
Say that last bit again.
So they added
replacement.
There's replaced, yeah. Thomas Partey replaced with Martins and Mendy, Jorginho replaced with Norgard. So there's not actually, it's not added depth. It's just replaced, which that is spot on. And but we did discuss in the show is that an upgrade?
It is an upgrade.
I think it is an upgrade.
And do you all know why?
Give me what? Yeah, because we don't know.
Do you want to know why Zubimendi is an upgrade on both Thomas Partey and Jorginho?
Give it to me.
Because he can do everything that those players can do. He can
in the Premier, but you haven't seen it yet.
Okay, look.
Sorry. I don't want to. I have to play the other side.
The only way I will say it is if you can replace Rodri for Spain with consummate ease. Now we're talking. That's all I can go on. But that is a Ballon d'Or winner. And listen, Ballon d'Or winners as a 6, you don't get 6s winning Ballon d'Ors. And that guy come in and done a job. He's a professional athlete, and he come in and done a job for him like nothing. Don't forget, he won in a high intensity final against England, and he's done it for all of that time.
Played a lot of games.
Spain haven't dropped off. Right, they have not dropped off at all. So, and this is also a player that Liverpool wanted. Right, Liverpool wanted Zubimendi for a reason, and then he turned around and said, "No, I don't want to go to Liverpool." Then Xabi Alonso, who is his idol and his self-confessed idol, brought him through the ranks at Real Sociedad into the B team, and that was Alonso's first coaching role. Brought him in, gave him his start, and then obviously that led on to Xabi Alonso's obviously come from Real Madrid, so that's basically like a father figure. And it's Real Madrid come and knocking, right? You're playing football in Spain, you move to Real Madrid. They come and knocking, right? And then he turns around, instead of playing football in sunny Spain and staying in the same country that is his nationality, no, he's decided to come to England and play games, in a cold, freezing evening in December against God knows who, in the Premier League. He wants to come to the Arsenal. Again, I respect that. The player's chosen Arsenal, and his quality is undeniable. Don't get me wrong, he has got to come into the Premier League and he has got to deliver that. But in his game style, he's as direct as Thomas Partey. Some of his ball playing ability is better. The way he wins the ball, controls the tempo of the game. Thomas Partey is very good at, say, getting the ball and just driving forward with it. Yep. Zubimendi's, I believe his pass finding is a lot better. His vision, his awareness, the way he receives the ball and moves and turns with the ball, and he can turn players with ease. I've watched him do that a lot. And I really like that signing. I believe it is an upgrade on Jorginho. And Jorginho is quite similar in that way.
It's Zubimendi for Partey and Norgard for Jorginho.
No, but the point I'm getting at is I believe that Zubimendi has the qualities and the characteristics that Jorginho has and Thomas Partey. It combined into one which is rare. I think he's a very versatile option that can mix it up.
I agree with the premise of your argument. I said the same thing to Turkish yesterday when we did the show. I think that the midfield that we've got this season, to me, on paper anyway, because we don't, like you said, we're only going to find out when the season starts.
Of course.
But on paper, that midfield is stronger than it was last season for me, and that's coming from a man, by the way, and also that is an admirer of Partey.
I think also he's going to allow Declan Rice to do a lot more of what Declan Rice needs to do. And as we've seen last season, Declan Rice doing some fantastic things, match winning us games. And I just think he's going to, I think it's a fantastic sign. I'm really looking forward to seeing him playing an Arsenal shirt.
Can I just make something entirely clear, because I know what some of these people are like. When I say I'm an admirer of Partey, I said as a footballer. Remember, I added that. Yeah. Okay.
We've got 5 more super chats. Thank you again for everyone supporting this stream. 9 likes away from 1,000. People, please. Rizwan Khan says, I get a funny feeling that Arteta will finally be under pressure from the board this season due to the Club World Cup qualifications. That might be a good point. A lot of money on the table in this competition. I can't see the Kroenkes missing out. Something you agree with? Do you think there might be a little bit of pressure on? Do you think
a little bit of pressure, bro. Come on, man. It's a silly. Come on.
Manfred says, I mean, they want the money. They probably want to be in that competition.
You need to win.
Win first, yeah. Okay, fair. Manfred says, if we have a choice to bring in Eze and another player, I'd rather the second option be Cesco than Rodrigo. Wow. We need a good backup striker. We have wingers. We have lots of wingers, I'm assuming he's saying. I mean, I look at our strikers, and even with Joarez, it's a good improvement. Havertz and Marina don't fill me with confidence as backup strikers, but I wouldn't say Cesco is the option. There must be someone else out there. Cameron Brooks says, where is Joarez? Would you take Watkins? I would personally. It's not going to happen though. I wouldn't take Rodrigo. He only had 6 goals and 4 assists last season, less than Martinelli. Ed A says 48 million plus 13 million, 50 grand a week is 61 million over 5 years. Mad Wayk, that's correct. That is correct. Kudos says 55 million plus 100k a week is 81 million total package. 20 million pound difference. How Arsenal sees it. That is the right breakdown. He was on at Chelsea for 50 grand a week. He's on the same money here at Arsenal. So it's not crazy money, but there might be other people out there. American Gooner says fans crying about player wages is trash. That talk has kept player wages artificially low. Havertz makes less than 50 million a year. Can you all go and show on a player wages and why you care? Can you all go? I presume it means can you all do a show on player wages and why you care? I think 65 million plus 270 grand a week for a player for Arsenal to sign and put him on. I think that's something to definitely talk about. That is what he has been on. I think that is something to talk about. Ty's parents says, get these criminals, Turkish. Love the show. You'll never walk alone. HW says, what's the replacement versus upgrade convo? Every signing, I think he means to say, is a replacement. Words means Elliot is getting sold. Frimpong replaced Trent, Cherky, Kevin De Bruyne, etc. Some upgrades as well. I know every signing seems to be replacements, but also upgrades. Joarez isn't really a replacement either. He's not replacing anyone. He's just coming in. So sometimes it's not always replacements, unless you're saying Joarez is a replacement to Eddie Nketiah, but I'll let you lot argue.
Mikel Merino.
He's replacing Mikel.
Upgrade.
This is definitely an upgrade. Mikel, no offense, Mikel Merino, big him up. Michael says, sorry, Snoop Dogg is investing in Swansea, guys. Thank you for that information. Before we close, we've hit 1,000 likes. We've gone way over the hour mark. Apologies to my panel, actually, but big up everyone that's got involved in the chat and liked the video along. Thank you for the abuse at the beginning of the show. I'll take it on board. And thank you to my amazing guests. Laurie, thank you for making me laugh as well throughout the show. And thank you for all
bro,
your
if I can make you laugh, then that's something to my credit.
Yeah, you saying I'm okay? I'm okay, bro.
I'm good, bro.
You're good, yeah? Everything's alright. Don't let they're not gonna rattle you. You're too good.
Come on, man. Them man see me in the street, they'll want to take a seat.
Man attack! Listen, big up everyone that's joined us for Talking Transfers. We might be back next week. We will be in some capacity. We'll be over in Singapore. So make sure you look at all the content coming your way whilst over there. The vlogs, the updates, the breaking news. The regular shows will still run by us. Invincibles, Forever Arsenal, I believe, will be still happening out over in Hong Kong and Singapore. So look out for all that content. We can't wait to leave. That sounds really harsh, but we can't wait to leave and go over and be with the team and giving you all the content and all the updates as we're over there. Like the video on your way out. Let's see if we can get to 2,000 as you leave. And I'll see you again soon, people. Take care. Love.